What's good, YouTube? I keep having people ask me on my Telegram or on calls that are booked, how am I profitable with 0.3 ROAS? In traditional e-com, my campaigns would be just draining my money. And in this case, I'm still profitable, especially at scale. I'm gonna be showing you guys the math, and I also made a profitability calculator so that you guys can understand at what acceptance rate you are profitable. So as you guys can see here, I took on my dashboard all the approval ratios that I have. So as you guys can see, I'm averaging 60 to 65%. And you can see here how much I'm actually charging them for. So it's $43 usually. And then this is my most dog shit campaign. I even shut this down because even though it was making me money, it's not too worth it. Look how dog shit this is. 0.33 ROAS, cost per purchase of $26. However, you're gonna see later on in this video, I'm still profitable from this. That's how crazy it is. If you want to work one-on-one with me, book a call in the description or add my Telegram at KECOMMRR. All right, so this is the lie that I see that a lot of people coming from traditional e-com still believe. So they believe that you spend $100 on ads, you make $50 in sales, you're down $50, the campaign is declared as dead. And you need to figure out something else. And that's because after the first order, there's nothing else. There's no MRR, so the ROAS is basically the whole business, if you get what I'm trying to say. But however, with the rebill model, you spend $100, front end brings back $50, so 0.5 ROAS, and you're down $50 on paper. But those customers agree to a membership/rebill. So if you clear one of those rebills, you cover the gap. So front-end ROAS is almost just a vanity metric in this game. So back-end acceptance is what's actually important. So like I said, look at this. It looks like dog shit if you're an NPC, but to an operator that knows that rebills are coming in, this is a good signal. Look at this dog shit campaign like I said. It is $2,000 spent and 87 purchases brought in. That's a 0.3 ROAS. That is, I would have shot myself in the head when I used to run traditional e-com. But this is still making me money. And I'll show you guys in the calculator. So for example, let's run this one. So I think I've already inputted it. So if you look at here, how much did you spend on ads? So let's do 2,085. And then the average price, so I have a lot of upsells. Let's do $9. And then there is 87 purchases. So let's do that, 87 orders. And then how much do you rebuild them for? I do $42.99 like I showed you guys and zero cost of goods. As you can see, with my average 65% approval rate, you guys can see that I would be making $1,100 on this dog shit campaign. Do you guys understand? So if you scale it up, this would still make you profitable. That's pretty crazy. And to break even, you only need a 35% approval rate. That's easy to get, guys. I mean, like, just looking at this math is pretty crazy. People still have a hard time believing me how this works, but yeah. Anyways, you need a 35% approval rate, and yeah, this is pretty crazy, guys. You don't even need a good approval rate to make this work, or good ads, or good ROAS, nothing. Like, you just have to get people to buy your thing, at least a couple people. So like I said, you can literally force profitability. People think if the product is bad, acceptance dies, so low ROAS won't work. But in reality, you can make the product a cheap impulse buy. And then what really matters is the back end and the VIP membership that they agree to. And then after that, your job is for compliance, support, and make sure that you guys are targeting a good audience. If you guys don't have a good audience, you won't be able to charge so much for the rebill. So these are some rebill price points that you guys can run. So $20 to $35 is a safer, it's a good default. And then you guys got $40 to $50, which is what I like to run. And then 60 plus. This can actually work with the right audience. I've seen one guy actually run this, but with the wrong audience, it is bad. So I see people saying that you should always target between $20 to $35 because people might not have money in their accounts, your acceptance rate might go down. I've had people try to tell me that at $45 or $43, my acceptance rate should be down in the gutter, but that is simply not true, guys. I think acceptance rate is dependent on your audience, and let me explain why. Basically, if you're targeting broke people, you're not going to have a good acceptance rate. I can list like 20 different products that I know for a fact is like targeting broke people. And also, depending on what age you guys are targeting, you are gonna have drastically different chargeback experience. So I genuinely think that the audience that you're targeting is much more important than how much you are actually charging. So like I was mentioning before, what actually moves your acceptance rate and chargebacks, it's mostly audience who can afford it, who expects a membership. Depending on how obvious you are on your front end with the membership coming, it can change it a bit, but most people kind of hide it. Like I said, and then trial, if you're charging like 1 or 2 days after, much more aggressive, you're probably going to have a higher chargeback rate or requests for refunds. And then support, that's extremely important. If you have good support SOPs, you can guide them most of the time to just cancel instead of requesting a refund or calling the bank and charging back. And then of course, having good mids and multi-mid routing is extremely important. Like I said, price is just one lever and people like to talk about that a lot, and they're leaving a lot of gains on the table. I'd say audience is a bigger one. So like I said, you guys can use that calculator. I'm sure you guys could vibe code it up. It takes like one prompt to make to understand what your profitability rate would be and what acceptance rate you guys actually need. And then also book a one-on-one call with me, link in the description, or message my Telegram. If you're a bot and you're gonna waste my time, do not book a call or message me. Peace out.